Discover the story of John, an ordinary man who finds an alien watch with the power to transform him into anything. As he battles to protect this incredible device from those who seek to misuse it, an epic adventure unfolds. Welcome to the Alien Watch, a race against time. John was just an ordinary guy, living a regular life. One weekend, he decided to go for a hike in the nearby woods to escape the hustle and bustle of the city. As he walked deeper into the forest, he stumbled upon something shiny buried in the ground. Curious, he dug it out and found a strange metallic watch unlike any he had ever seen before. John decided to put the watch on, and the moment he did, it started to glow with a soft blue light. Suddenly, his body began to change. He felt a strange sensation, and before he knew it, he had transformed into a bird. He looked around in shock, flapping his new wings. Panicked, he thought about being human again, and within seconds, he transformed back into himself. John couldn't believe what had just happened. He realized that the watch had incredible power. It could copy the DNA of any living thing and transform its wearer into that creature. He was both amazed and terrified. He knew that if this watch fell into the wrong hands, it could cause unimaginable chaos. Determined to understand more about the watch, John decided to take it home. He spent hours researching and experimenting with its powers. He transformed into different animals, each time returning to his human form with a little more understanding of how the watch worked. But with this power came great responsibility. He had to keep it safe. As days went by, John noticed something strange. He felt like he was being watched.
Whenever he went out, he saw the same suspicious-looking people around.
He realized that someone might have found out about the watch. The thought of it falling into the wrong hands scared him. He decided to keep a low profile and started thinking about ways to protect the watch. One night, as John was going through his research notes, he heard a noise outside his window. He peeked through the blinds and saw a shadowy figure lurking in the bushes. His heart raced. He knew he had to act fast. He packed the essential watch, deciding it was time to leave the city and go into hiding. John understood that his life had changed forever. The discovery of the watch had brought incredible power, but also great danger. He was determined to protect it no matter what. As he left his home, he couldn't shake off the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger adventure. Little did he know, his discovery would lead him into a battle that would decide the fate of the world. John drove through the night, heading towards the countryside where he hoped to find some peace and safety. He needed time to think and figure out his next steps. The weight of the watch on his wrist was a constant reminder of the power he now possessed and the danger it brought. As dawn broke, John reached a small remote town. He found a secluded cabin to rent and decided to lay low there. He knew he couldn't stay in one place for too long, but this would give him a chance to rest and plan. The quiet of the countryside was a stark contrast to the city, but John felt a sense of unease. He couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being watched. Back in the city, news of strange sightings and transformations had spread, attracting the attention of a secretive organization known for its ruthless methods. This organization had been searching for advanced alien technology for years, and the watch was exactly what they needed. They deployed their best agents to track down the man who possessed it. One evening, as John sat in his cabin, he heard a knock on the door. He froze, heart pounding. Peering through the window, he saw a man in a suit standing outside, looking impatient. John knew he couldn't trust anyone, especially not now. He quietly slipped out the back door, moving quickly and silently into the woods. As he made his way through the dense trees, he could hear footsteps behind him. The organization had found him, and they were closing in fast. John had to use the watch to escape. He focused on the DNA of a cheetah he had read about earlier. The transformation was swift and smooth. Suddenly, he was running on all fours, his speed unmatched. He dashed through the forest, leaving his pursuers far behind. But he knew this was just a temporary escape. They would keep looking for him, and he had to stay one step ahead. John decided he needed help, someone who could understand the gravity of the situation. He thought of an old friend, Lisa, a scientist who had always been fascinated by extraterrestrial life. She was the only person he could trust. Reaching a small town, John found a payphone and dialed Lisa's number. She answered on the third ring. "Lisa, it's John. I need your help. It's urgent." "John? What's going on? Lisa sounded both surprised and worried. I can't explain everything now, but I found something. Something incredible and dangerous. I need a safe place to hide and someone who can help me understand it. Lisa agreed to meet him at a nearby location. As John made his way to their rendezvous point, he couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. With Lisa's help, he might just have a chance to protect the watch and uncover its secrets. But he knew the organization would not give up easily, and the chase was far from over. John arrived at the rendezvous point, a small, abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. He waited nervously, scanning the area for any signs of danger. Finally, Lisa's car pulled up and she stepped out, looking concerned but determined. "John, what's going on?" "You sounded so urgent on the phone," Lisa said as she approached him. "Lisa, you won't believe this," John replied, showing her the watch. "This is no ordinary watch. It has the power to transform its wearer into any living being by copying their DNA." Lisa's eyes widened in shock as John demonstrated by briefly transforming into a wolf and then back to himself. "This is incredible! But how did you find it?" "I stumbled upon it while hiking. But now, a secret organization is after me. They want the watch and they'll stop at nothing to get it," John explained. Before they could discuss further, a sudden noise from the shadows made them both turn. Stepping out into the light was a tall, imposing figure with a calm yet intense demeanor. "My name is Zorak," the figure said. "I am an alien from the planet Galadon. That watch you possess is a powerful piece of technology that was lost during a mission. It was never meant to be found by humans." John and Lisa exchanged shocked glances. "Why is it so important?" John asked. Zorak explained. "The watch can replicate DNA and transform its wearer, but it also contains the knowledge of my people. In the wrong hands, it could lead to devastation on a massive scale. I need to return it to my planet and prevent it from being misused." Lisa stepped forward. "We want to help, but this organization is relentless. They've been tracking John, and they won't stop until they have the watch." Zorak nodded. "I can help you, but we must act quickly. They are already closing in on us." Just as he finished speaking, the distant sound of engines and shouts grew louder. The organization had found them. John, Lisa, and Zorak hurried to prepare, knowing they were about to face a fierce battle. John used the watch to create a diversion. "We need to buy some time," Zorak instructed. John focused on transforming into a powerful bear, ready to defend against their attackers. As he charged out of the warehouse, the organization's agents were caught off guard. Using his new strength, John managed to hold them back, giving Lisa and Zorak a chance to escape through a hidden tunnel. "We need to find a safer place to regroup and plan our next move," Zorak said as they emerged from the tunnel into the open countryside. John reverted to his human form and joined them. "We can't keep running forever. We need a way to stop them once and for all," Lisa agreed. "If we can find out more about the organization's operations, maybe we can find a way to shut them down." Zorak looked determined. "We must. The fate of your planet and mine depends on it." As they moved away from the warehouse, John felt a renewed sense of purpose. With Lisa and Zorak by his side, he believed they could protect the watch and prevent the impending disaster. But he knew the journey ahead would be perilous, and they would need all their strength and cunning to survive. John, Lisa, and Zorak moved quickly through the countryside, putting as much distance as possible between themselves and the organization. They found refuge in another abandoned warehouse where they could regroup and strategize. They knew they couldn't keep running forever. They needed to take the fight to their pursuers. "John, we have to disable their ability to track the watch," Lisa said. "If we don't, they'll keep finding us no matter where we go." Zorak nodded. "The organization must have a tracking device attuned to the watch's energy. We need to infiltrate their headquarters and destroy it." John looked at them, determined. "Let's do it. But we'll need a solid plan." Lisa pulled out a map of the city and pointed to a heavily guarded building. "This is their headquarters. It's fortified, but if we can create a diversion, we might have a chance." John transformed into a hawk, scouting the area from above. He noted the guards' positions and returned to the warehouse to relay the information. "There are guards at every entrance, but there's a ventilation shaft on the roof. We can use it to get inside," Zorak agreed. "Good. Once inside, we find the tracking device and destroy it. John, you can use the watch to transform and handle the guards. Lisa and I will locate the device." That night, under the cover of darkness, they approached the headquarters. John transformed into a stealthy cat, slipping through the shadows to reach the ventilation shaft. He carefully opened it and gestured for Lisa and Zorak to follow. They climbed through the ducts, navigating the labyrinth of vents until they reached the central lab. Inside the lab, they found the tracking device, a large machine emitting a low hum surrounded by armed guards. John transformed into a tiger, leaping out to take down the guards with swift, powerful strikes. Meanwhile, Lisa and Zorak moved quickly to disable the device. Lisa connected her laptop to the machine, hacking into its system, while Zorak provided cover. "I'm almost there," she said, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "Just a few more seconds." John, now in human form again, fought off the remaining guards, buying Lisa the time she needed. Finally, with a triumphant beep, the device shut down, its lights flickering off. "We did it!" Lisa exclaimed, disconnecting her laptop. "They won't be able to track us now." But their victory was short-lived. The organization's leader entered the lab, flanked by more agents. He looked at them with a sinister smile. "You think you've won? This is just the beginning." John transformed into a monstrous creature, using his strength to hold off the agents while Zorak and Lisa made their escape. They fought their way through the building, finally reaching an exit. As they burst out into the night, John reverted to his human form, panting from the exertion. "We need to get out of here now!" They ran through the streets, determined to find a new hiding place. Despite their victory, they knew the organization would not stop hunting them. But for now, they had bought themselves some time. As they disappeared into the darkness, John felt a mix of relief and apprehension. The battle was far from over, and they still had a long way to go. But with the tracking device disabled, they had a fighting chance to protect the watch and keep it out of the wrong hands. John, Lisa, and Zorak found a temporary refuge in an old barn far from the city. As they caught their breath, they knew they had to come up with a final plan to end this once and for all. The organization's relentless pursuit meant they couldn't keep running forever. "We need to strike at the heart of their operations," Zorak said. "If we can destroy their command center, we can cripple their ability to chase us and secure the watch." Lisa nodded. "We need to gather more information on their main base. It's heavily fortified, but if we can find a weakness, we can use it to our advantage." John transformed into a bird once more, flying over the organization's main base to scout. He noted the security measures, guard shifts, and potential entry points. When he returned, they devised a plan to infiltrate the base and take it down from the inside. Under the cover of night, they approached the base. John transformed into a snake, slipping through the tight security and opening a side entrance for Lisa and Zorak. They moved quickly and quietly through the corridors, avoiding patrols and security cameras. They reached the central command room, where the organization's leader was coordinating the efforts to recapture the watch. John transformed into a bear, bursting through the door and taking out the guards with powerful swipes. Lisa and Zorak followed, focusing on the control systems. "Shut down their communications and disable their defenses," John instructed, holding off more guards as they stormed the room. Lisa hacked into the system, disabling the security measures and shutting down the communication channels. Zorak set charges around the room to ensure complete destruction of their operations. The leader, cornered and desperate, pulled out a weapon aimed at John. "You can't stop us! The watch will be ours and its power will belong to us." John, transforming into a monstrous form, roared and knocked the weapon out of the leader's hand. "Not while I'm here," he growled, knocking the leader unconscious. Lisa set the final charges. "We have to go now!" she shouted.
They raced out of the building as the charges sounded.
The base erupted in a series of explosions, the command center crumbling into ruins. John, Lisa, and Zorak made their way to safety, watching the destruction from a distance. Breathing heavily, they looked at each other with a mix of relief and triumph. The organization was crippled, and the immediate threat was over. "We did it," John said, finally allowing himself to smile. "But what about the watch?" Zorak nodded. "It's too dangerous to leave here. We must destroy it to ensure it can never be misused," John agreed. With a heavy heart, he placed the watch on a rock and smashed it with a piece of debris. The watch shattered, its power dissipating into the air. "It's done," John said quietly. "The world is safe." Zorak placed a hand on John's shoulder. "You did the right thing. The sacrifice was necessary to protect both our worlds." As dawn broke, they stood together, knowing that their journey had come to an end. Zorak prepared to return to his home planet, while John and Lisa looked forward to returning to their normal lives, forever changed by their adventure. "We'll never forget what we went through," Lisa said. "But we made it." John nodded. "And we'll always know that we did the right thing." With that, Zorak departed, and John and Lisa headed back home, ready to face a new day with a renewed sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of the power of responsibility and courage.